Welcome to the Jeremy Mullins podcast, where we take a deep dive into different educational topics. I am your host, Jeremy. I am here today with my two favorite people on the podcast. Now, I guess they're co hosts since Montae's on quite a bit, and the original co host, the editor, the producer. What other hats you wear, sir?
Social emailer.
Ooh, social emailer. Yes, all of that, Mr.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Or no hat today.
What?
I said, or no hat today.
Yeah, no hat. I mean, you can tell that I'm just, fighting for my life in here.
It's okay. For those that are on YouTube or you're watching this, you can see that he is working on his studio. So it's coming along. I like it.
Yeah, it's getting there. I have our writer in this other room right here, painting, grinding away.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, Homegrown is building out the stuff currently in the back garage.
Sweet. You'll have good. Yeah, we're super excited. You're going to have a full, I mean, basically a full gym there. And then in Florida, we'll just have, probably an eco bike, squat racks, some of the basic stuff, which will be cool because I think that would, for most people, like the space that I'll be able to have for the shooting of the educational videos when it comes to exercise, like that's the space most people are going to have at home. Right. So I think it'd be a cool little dynamic, in between the two facilities. So
Absolutely. Yep. I'm excited.
And also, if you're on YouTube, you can get to see this. This was a gift from two of the clients, Adam and Beth. I love it. This is the serving size of my peanut butter. So as you can read, it says Jeremy's. Hold me, read it right there.
Yep.
Jeremy's peanut butter shovel. So this is how my serving size of peanut butter goes, boys.
That looks like a salad spoon.
It's literally like a mini shovel.
Yeah.
Love it.
They should use it and measure it out to see how many servings it actually is.
I will. I think that would be a great educational post.
Exactly.
I bet it's 4 tablespoons. I bet it's 4 to 5 with a heaping scoop.
Wait, it has to be heaping because if you level that out, it would just be like a skim layer across the shovel.
Yeah, but if you just dive that down in there, especially it's in a format of a shovel with that pointy, and it's got a dip in it. I bet if you dive it in and pull it up, no less than 5, possibly 8. But we'll see.
How deep you go.
That's not how deep you go into it. Oh man! All right, let's get into this. I think it's gonna be fun. We're a couple of weeks removed of Team Alpha weekend. It was an awesome experience. It's always good, one to get a bunch of like-minded individuals together. But on the backside of it, Montae and I, we really try to keep that weekend as simple as possible. Because we've learned it's the communications and the conversations that you have with people and the time you get to spend with people that matter more than like what I call the quote, fireworks of an event, right? And you were able to come out and kind of participate in it and take some photos for the group in that, but also get to like have conversations with people that you never met before. And I think it'd be good if we just kind of share some of our, highlights of the weekend and highlights of the conversation and what it meant to you guys, to participate in Team Alpha weekend.
Let you go first.
Yeah. It was an eye-opening experiencing it in person because I see all the emails, I see all the social posts that they tag, like podcasting and Jeremy and you, Montae, and all that stuff. So seeing it from like a firsthand perspective, like, oh, this person lost 80 pounds since January, or 100 and however many pounds from a few individuals, and then some of them are trying to gain weight, and so they're on that journey, and then some of them are just they didn't necessarily need to lose weight or gain weight, but like they needed the mentality to get healthy. And this team brought it out of them. And seeing that in person, especially right after morning of day one, we went into a 6-mile ruck just immediately, and all of them finished. You don't see that. There's people in the military that couldn't go out and do a 6-mile ruck. So it was cool to see just normal people doing awesome things.
It's funny you say that because like if you go to any unit, right, and I'm just put it out there, like it doesn't matter which unit you're in. If you're in the guard, whether it be air guard, army guard, you understand this. If you went up and just surprised everybody and be like, we're going to do a 10K ruck, like the attitudes and comments that you would get would be crazy, right? So like in our
Yeah.
schedule, we didn't tell them, like it just said ruck. Never did we put a distance out there, right? So when they show
Hmm.
up, it's like, hey, we're going no less than 10K, get 6 miles in today. And it was awesome. The people had conversations, and it's cool to see them taking selfies of each other, making those posts. And the good thing about it was like it was a pretty good clip by everyone. Like it wasn't
Hmm.
just, you know, they were moving.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting here. I was like, man, you guys definitely ruck because I'm like fast paced with my thing. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm used to just slowing and rolling. Um, but everyone crushed it. It was also cool to see everyone knew each other, and they didn't necessarily meet in person yet. But they all showed up and were talking about their families, jobs, lives immediately.
Yeah, and I think, man, that's something we're trying to do with the podcast too. And podcasts and Team Alpha, there's a lot of interconnecting links, right? I mean, to be honest, it is. It has the same logo, to a degree. It's a lot of the same people. But, what I've learned in 20 years of working inside this wellness space, that if you build a community of like-minded individuals, it's easier to change habits, right? Because you're going to do the habits of those individuals that are around you, right? And it's important as like a new individual to a team, always try to respect people, 100%, but also set those boundaries and set what I expect, right? So I think that's a cool aspect to see the community is, yeah, a lot of people, they don't know each other. They know who it is because it's an online community, but to see just it go from, this relationship to this relationship that quick for them meeting in person. So
Another big thing with that ruck too is like when you look at it, like yeah, everybody went out and they finished it, and that's a big thing is just finishing. Like the journey started and everybody finished it, and you look at it on that ruck. There was times I was up in the front, there was times I was in the middle and the back, and there's people at different parts of their journey that are at different parts of this ruck.
yeah.
You have a group out in front that are stopping and doing push-ups, and they're probably going like 16, 17 miles an hour. And there's people closer to the back. Everybody's on a different journey. They're at different spots in it. But at the end of the day, whether somebody finished in this many hours or this many hours and minutes, everybody finishes. So when you get out there and you start a journey, don't compare yourself to others. Just focus on where you are right there in that moment. Get out there, do it, put one foot in front of the other, and you're gonna finish. You're gonna eventually finish the journey, right? And it was just cool to see the people at different levels at different spots, but everybody finished the quote unquote race.
I'm going to need you to take a little more megawatt this morning. Okay. So 16 to 17 miles an hour is fast.
Well, that's what I'm. What
Six,
where I was. This is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people doing.
16, 16 to 17-minute miles.
Yeah, yeah, minute miles.
I just listen. I don't want another 1-star rating on the podcast, right? Because all
Oh
those guys,
man.
they're lying about their ruck time. Monte said he was walking, 16
Oh
miles an
man.
hour.
Yeah. I need.
So
Yeah. I didn't take megawatt this morning. I've been dialing back a little bit on the caffeine.
oh man. Yeah. It was like I started in the back and because one of my goals was, what, if I could have a conversation with every single body this morning. Because Friday I didn't. Like it's, by the time I do the initial education and welcome and then have some conversations, at dinner, like I didn't get to speak to everybody, quote day one or the intro day. So my goal was, all right, talk to everyone on this ruck. So we would just kind of, run up to the next group. We went to the group that was doing the push-ups, every so often, and it got to the last group, the Fosters, man, like they were almost running, like they were walking so fast. Like it hurt to catch up to them. And I'm like, are you guys running faster because we're getting behind you? And they were just like, nope, they were just trucking. So it was cool to see. And that was one of the things I wanted to say on the rock. One of the ladies told me, she homeschools her kids. And she was like, hey, thank you guys so much for the podcast. Like I share it with everybody. She's like, I actually make it part of my kids' curriculum to listen to for their homeschool PE. And I'm like, that's awesome. And it kind of made me feel good about, Reno, some of the conversations that we've had offline that we wanted to get into, where a few of them, when we turned into the show at the beginning of the year and we're doing one every day, that there is a little bit more education. Like I love the conversations. We always educate, but doing some of those ones where I make an outline and I'm just educating on a topic, right? So an example of that be like, we talk about complete proteins. Complete proteins have all the branched chain amino acids, but we never talk what are the amino acids, right? So we'll dive into more in that as the podcast goes. I just thought it was kind of cool, that we got kids out there that are learning, about nutrition and exercise through this format.
That made it more evident that these podcasts are, even if you're not watching them, they're basically 20-minute whiteboard sessions
Yeah.
that, I mean, there's kids book, not even kids nutritional books. There's college books that don't cover everything that is covered in some of your educational videos in a 20-minute period. It'll take a semester to learn what you teach in a 27-minute period. And so that was eye opening to me of like how important that this is, that we're doing it, providing this value up front for free and always will be for free. Um, Something that is so impactful, especially in someone's kids' lives, that they're developing these mental thoughts, what health and wellness is.
Yeah. Moving on to, I guess it'd be the second part of day two. One of the things, and it's made me adjust it. And both of you guys, we've had conversation on this, but the kettlebell instruction went awesome, right? I think everybody loved the kettlebell instruction. I think everybody picked something up, but also like, these were individuals that came this weekend that have had success in their wellness journey. We're talking people who have lost 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 pounds, got to single digit body fat. But our movement on kettlebell swings was not that great, right? Like, so that got me thinking as Montae, you and I try to always evolve, what is Team Alpha, how we educate, right? Now we're working with Reno on, okay, how do we take this and put it into a story and be able to educate better, being able to provide some of those educations when it comes to movements, right? So maybe that is breaking down some of the basic movements, whether it be a squat to a lunge to a push up, to the kettlebell swing, and then be able to show that, educate that, and then have our users send videos of them doing it so we can critique it, because that's the hardest thing to do in a online format of coaching, is to work inside the space of movement and make sure that our people are moving well.
Yeah, but that's just with the correct form and intensity.
Yeah.
Is it weird that there's more people that was there for this weekend that are doing more complex things than kettlebell swings? And it was like hard for them to grasp the kettlebell swings.
No, I mean, I think it's eye opening that a lot of people at Montana and I work with, like, they don't have a big exercise background, right? Like, and they're learning and it's new. And while like they're getting a ton of education when it comes to behavior change inside of nutrition, inside of sleep, inside of supplementation, which plays a big part if we're talking about body composition and wellness, right? And that's where I don't get too caught up. People are like, hey, what exercise program should I do? I'm like, doesn't matter, as long as you're doing some resistance training, we're going to get results, right? But I think when we get people to a certain level, and we're wanting to produce even better results, right? That's where the intent and the intensity and the better exercise program, as far as reps and ranges, are going to matter. And I think that we're going to really, over the next year, look at how we can improve our education when it comes to the exercise part of stuff, with our OGs, for lack of better terms. What do you got, Monte? You're nodding. What do you got from day two? I got one more thing that stands out, but I don't want to steal everything.
No, the biggest thing is just going into like the movements and seeing people do the movements. And I made a comment about it. It's like a lot of people were doing the kettlebell swings, not with the right form. But you go to a gym and you see everybody doing kettlebell swings if they're not getting that correct instruction, and the people weren't doing them wrong to what they see everybody else doing. So it's not just like even the people, it was the people everywhere. Like you walk into a gym, you see somebody doing a kettlebell swing, it's totally different. So then now we're doing these movements and it feels weird, it looks weird, even though it's the correct way, because what is quote unquote like normal out there is technically the wrong way. And I brought that up to you. It's like people are like, well, this feels weird. It's like you've been doing it this way because this is the way you've seen it done by a lot of people at the gym.
It is not a front raise, ladies and gentlemen. Your kettlebell swing is not a front raise. You are going to use your core and your hips, not muscle that thing up. So
Yeah, like there, I mean, when you got the kettlebell up here and you haven't even like extended your hips at all, it's like,
yeah, no, I get it. And the other thing that stood out to me, and there's a lot of individual one-on-one conversations for sure. But the other thing was Saturday night. We're sitting there and we're playing the cornhole tournament, which I won, by the way. But that's nor here nor there. Uh, Unofficial winner.
I was about to say I don't see your basket, so I didn't think you won.
Yeah, I gave
Jeremy asked everyone their skill level and split up teams, but never said his skill level, and then just decided to just creep over with the A teams.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, I was going to take the last person. That was my goal, but then everybody had a partner except for me. So then I'm like, well, I'll just play by myself. And then walk on each edge. And then Rob was like, "You don't play by yourself. I'll play with you." And I had no idea that he was pretty good. And then like the first game, he threw like ringers and stuff, and I actually threw off the board because I'm like, this is not fair, right? So we ended up skunking the first team, and I'm like, oh, this is probably not going to look good. But
Yeah, Rob definitely does not play just once a year. I
yeah,
refuse.
Rob, yes, Rob was pretty good. So, but it
He
worked out.
calls it bags. He calls it bags, not cornhole. That's how good he is.
Yeah.
Well, I had a really good partner. We made some good strides throughout the night. But my point being, we're playing, and I loved it. We're going to keep that. We're going to do cornhole tournament every single year. I think it was fun. I think people had a blast. Maybe we let people team up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that was fun. I think everybody had a great time with it. But as the night progressed, what was cool is I look around, and to my knowledge, I didn't ask anybody. I know, Monte, I don't think you asked anybody.
No, but I know what you're gonna say already.
Yeah,
And
dude, like
I
people,
didn't ask anybody.
no, people were cleaning up. People were, because we'd moved the chairs out of the way for the cornhole tournament. Like people were just picking up after themselves and like and just cleaning and taking care of it. Like cleanup did not take any time because almost every single person basically jumped in. We mopped the floors, we cleaned the floors, we put all the food away, it was prepped. Like it was a cool thing to see, right? And there's always like onesies and twosies that come over like, hey, can we help out? But this was like nothing asked. Like nobody went. I don't think nobody was going to take no for answer. Like they just started doing that, and that goes to that whole thing about like setting the tone and setting the community and what is the expectations. And it was just cool to see.
And it's the cool thing too with that is like sweeping, mopping, but not even just that. Like they were putting tables back and making sure that they put it back exactly how they found it. Like the corner of this table was facing this way. Like paid attention to the detail and like just stay to the standard of everything that we do inside of the community. And that I mean, cleaning up and everything, that's awesome. But then taking it to that next level, even making sure that the corners of the tables are facing the right way. Like it was awesome.
And once again, that I think that is why this group has success. Is you look around and you find people who have success that have the same obstacles that you have, right? And you look around and you see that. And once again, this is a habits. And when you're around people who do certain habits, it's easier for you to do those, right? Because at the core value, we all want to be accepted, right? And to be accepted, we're gonna, kind of follow the lead to what other people are doing. The great thing about this is people are doing good things.
I think that's the biggest thing people take away from weekends like this is they got to see other people do something. So if they weren't necessarily leading something in their own life, like cleaning up after themselves, like that level, they watched other people do it. So now, at least for the next few weeks, months, they're probably at home, probably being a little bit more clean, watching what they eat, getting in whatever they need to get in, just based on what they saw from 2 days.
100%. So as we wrap this up, and it was an awesome time. We are looking maybe to move it to the summer next year, adding an extra day for a couple of different reasons. So maybe doing a check in on Friday morning, open workout, not nutritional brief, but core value brief, and then doing something fun on Friday night out off the campus of HQ, and then keep Saturday and Sunday the same because I think Saturday and Sunday went flipping awesome. So that's down. We figured that out. Now we're going to add an extra day to it. So mark your calendars, looking at mid to late July next year, and moving it to a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event with doing something off campus on Friday. So just a little hint out there for those that are listening to it. So guys, one, I appreciate you being part of this community. I appreciate you being part, of Team Alpha / the podcast and friends in general. So just know that I do appreciate you guys, and I hope the listeners have a wonderful day.
So you
Thanks, Jeremy.